The 86 and the SI are two very similar cars, but they're also very different. So let's go and compare the two in this video. So I'm standing in front of my 86 here, and I've got Austin's Civic Si, so good to have you, man.
Good to be here. How's it going?
It's good. So this is a very beautiful Si. I love the cars, I think they're super fun, but Austin, go ahead and tell me about the mods you've done to your car, overall experience. Just kind of walk me through what have you actually done to your Si in particular.
Yeah, so it's a 2018 Civic Si. It's got basic bolt-ons. It's got a Purell intercooler, 271, cold air intake, catless down pipe, 3-inch front pipe. Then it's also got a HKS catback exhaust. I believe it's 3-inch. Stock suspension, stock wheels, unfortunately.
But not for long. Soon
not
enough.
for long.
Yeah. Soon it will change.
Yeah, soon it will change. It's got a QD short throw shifter, bushings, nothing too crazy. But other than that, it's pretty standard.
So moving into my car, I really don't have too many mods on the car. It's really just mostly visual, to be honest. As far as performance, let's go with performance first. So I've got Titan 7 wheels on here. It's an 18 by 9.5 plus 40 wheel with a 255, 35, 18 tire. The Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's are super grippy. Like I literally with traction control off, struggle to actually get it to spin, which is quite interesting. I'm sure with front wheel drive, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Can't really kick it out, but you could probably still spin.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, especially with, how much horsepower do you think your car's putting down?
I'd say around 260, 250 wheel somewhere right there.
So,
I don't know.
I mean, a lot more than
somewhere.
me. I'm probably like 170 wheel, combined with the automatic, taking a little bit away from it, through drivetrain loss and things like that. Other than that, it's all visuals. The car's wrapped in this nice dandelion yellow. I've got some, I love it. It's like literally, I love a car that stands out. Maybe when I get a little bit more mature, a little more older, I'll probably go for something a little bit more tame. But right now, while I'm young, I'm like, let's just do a bright yellow car, because why not?
Stand out.
I also have the full TRD kit on the car. It's OEM. JDM, it's the JDM one, so it's a little bit different than what you would see with like a US spec TRD kit. But other than that, I really just have an MXP Comp RS catback. And the car is literally stock engine bay, nothing done to it. I do have a strut bar in there, and then also like, things like end links, control arms, everything like that to adjust my fitment, so I can have like a negative 1.5 degree of camber in the front and negative 1.0 in the rear. Feels really planted for the car, especially, just for daily driving, a mix of daily driving and mountain driving, track driving, things of that nature. It just feels like it's really good overall. And I think we definitely have very similar cars with how they're just fun OEM plus versions of a stock one, right? Nothing crazy, nothing, not big turbo, none of that.
Yeah.
just a little bit better than a stock one, So.
Just add some extra fun to it.
Definitely.
Nothing crazy.
I mean, really the only difference between yours and mine in terms of like mods, right, is I've got wheels and suspension done to my car. But the truth is, on cars like these, you don't need to upgrade the suspension, and the tires would probably be the #1 thing to change out. I would say the main distinguishing thing is the fact that this is front wheel drive and this one here is rear wheel drive. Also, this one here only comes in a manual, and mine in particular is an automatic. Although I don't think the automatic is too bad. I know, go ahead and write your hate comments. But yeah, mine is an automatic, although obviously the 86 does come in a manual. But yeah, it's really cool. And Austin here, you say you haven't actually driven a car or a driver-focused car other than yours, right?
I have not. I've driven this, my dad's truck, and my buddy's Focus, and Nissan Sentra.
We're gonna drive both of them.
Yeah.
Austin's gonna get to drive the 86, and feel free to rip it out, rip it around, do whatever you want to do to it. It's definitely gonna be fun, and we're just gonna kind of compare the cars. We're gonna really compare more so the way you feel as a driver, right? Because these are driver-focused cars. These are affordable, entry-level sports cars, I would say. Sporty cars. I don't want to say sports cars, but sporty cars. Or I guess SI, right? It's sport injected cars, right?
Yeah.
So along those lines, they're super fun. But let's go and take the cars for a drive, and we'll see how they feel. And especially I want to see Austin's reaction here too. Just kind of what's it like driving an 86 compared to the SI. Whoa, dude! I didn't even feel it at all. Like that's how you know it's good. Oh, I love the manual in these cars. Definitely feel the boost kicking in. And I think that's one thing that's different among the 86 versus this car is mainly just being naturally aspirated, right? The 86 is naturally aspirated, and it's a boxer motor, so it feels slightly different. Yeah, you definitely feel it like right when you go from 3 to 4. Once you hit 4, it takes about a second for boost to kick in, and then once it does, it
doesn't have
goes.
that, like, instant, I guess, power.
That's something I'm already noticing that's different among the two.
Fun to like hold it wide open.
Oh yeah. See, it's a different type of fun, right?
Yeah.
Just holding it wide open throttle throughout a corner.
Dang.
It's grippy, right?
Yeah. Definitely a lot flatter. Definitely feel more confident. I'm sure that comes from obviously the tires and all.
Yeah. But
I don't know. And it's definitely fun to hold it wide open through, I mean, even like the rolling turns and everything. The input is definitely a lot different too.
With what, the steering? Or?
Yeah, it was just like, even like small little adjustments, like you really just feel like want to pull that way.
This car's definitely faster than mine. That's 100%. It feels so good. Okay, so this car, you do have a short shifter. So tell us about your short shifter.
So it's an Acuity. I think they call it the Stage 3. It's like everything. It's short throw. It's got stiffer centering spring. It's got adjustable gate distances and all that. So it's top quality. So
yeah, this feels incredible. I got to give it to you. I feel like this is probably one of the best feeling shifters I've ever felt. It is so short, so notchy.
Yeah.
Now, how is it daily driving, like when you're trying to drive smooth? Because this is like, you really, like, I can't even express it over. I mean, you might even see it on camera, but like, I'm really pushing it into gear. Like, it's not just a simple toss it in there. Like, you really got to give it some force. So how's it like for, normal driving?
Yeah, so I mean, I've gotten used to it, and it's honestly a lot looser than it was when I first put it in there. It's definitely broken in, but I guess I've just gotten so used to it now. I've kind of found the sweet spots in every gear and like whatever RPM. So yeah, I mean, I've found it out pretty well.
Yeah, it feels good, and even for rev matching and just driving it, it feels pretty good here. Little pop in there, I love it. Body roll, a little bit of body roll, but you know what, it's fine. Pulling it out of the corner, it feels planted. Being on stock suspension, is it stock tires too?
It is.
This
stock
thing feels
Goodyear all seasons.
What's interesting about this car is you mentioned it's going to want to understeer, right? Just being on these tires, which are the stock tires. Also, not to mention the car is front wheel drive, which is more so prone to understeer. Literally, if you're in a corner, just give it throttle and it's going to want to understeer more.
Go straight.
Yeah, basically just keep going straight. Now with my car though, I've tuned it essentially to understeer more so than oversteer. Being rear wheel drive, it's still going to want to oversteer, if you really push it. Yeah. But with especially with my alignment being so simple, like it's only a negative 1.5 degree in the front, like it's not a lot of camber. It's really just going to want to understeer for the most part. Or just, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's really good for grip versus, trying to get it to kick out.
Yeah, trying to hoon around.
Yeah, we can't really hoon around on those tires. I love the exhaust because it does drone at a certain point, but it doesn't drone that much that it's actually annoying. Like you hear it enough, you can feel it enough, but it's not annoying. And if I put it in 6th gear, it's quiet. This literally could probably sound stock. Like you don't really hear anything. Cruising at 50 miles per hour in 6th gear.
You hear more road noise than anything.
Yeah, actually that's very accurate. You hear a lot more road noise than anything. You just kind of point the nose and it goes. Very, very accurate, and reminds me a lot of the 86, maybe just a little bit smoother. It's not as raw, but it definitely still has everything you need from it. I actually really like this a lot. It's just so confident, right?
Yeah. that so much harder than what I just did.
Just the sounds, like tearing the turbo. I love it. So a huge difference between the 86 and the SI is obviously front wheel drive versus rear wheel drive. So when you're in the corner, just basic physics, you give the SI more throttle, it's gonna understeer. You give the 86 more throttle, it's gonna oversteer. So you really have to kind of choose a different strategy for when you're driving the car. You know, you can't just be full throttle through the corners, although with mine being so low horsepower, you kind of can, which I guess isn't a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Yes, it's got good tires, but yes, it's got like no horsepower, so it kind of evens out, I guess. But you know, the SI, this thing pushes a lot more power than mine, that's for sure. But you know, it's just really fun. I love front wheel drive cars. I feel like they're unique in their own way. They have a different feeling character when you drive it, and overall it's just still really fun. We just finished up the drive. I drove the SI, Austin drove the 86. What would you say as an owner of your car compared to that? How's the 86?
So it's definitely spirited driving is where it shines. Through the corners, not so much on the straightaways.
Yeah.
We found that out, but neither is my car really. They're both lower horsepower. It's very stable in the corners. You definitely feel confident. I mean, no matter what speed, full throttle through the corner. Can't go too crazy, obviously, because there's still some limitation, but I didn't find that limitation at all. I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I've found the limitation, and now it is kind of boring. It's like almost like you do want more power, but at the same time, I like knowing where the limitation is because when you know where it's at, it's a lot more fun because you're not really scared that something could happen or go wrong. You're just kind of like, oh yeah, I've got a lot of grip left here before something happens. But yeah, like I thought the SI was super fun. I think on a street environment, the SI will be more fun.
Yeah.
But I think the 86 on more of like a mountain or track environment is where the 86 will shine. It's not really a good daily driver. It's kind of loud. Like even if it's a stock exhaust, like road noise is just way too much. But you know, with yours being on stock struts, it feels a lot better. Honestly, I would prefer stock struts over my coilovers right now, but that's too much to do to try and go back to them. So there you have it. We took the two cars for a drive. It was super fun. Austin definitely enjoyed driving the 86, and I definitely enjoyed driving the Civic Si. Now, if you really enjoyed the video and want to see more just like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.